Alrighty, Doc here from North America in a not shortened week. Looks like we're going to be all 5 days, which is nice. What a way to end the year, huh? Bang, right into the new year. So, what we see this morning, again, a little weaker dollar. You see here we're looking at the Swiss against the dollar. And you can see it on J4X right there. You see the pressure there. Actually, what is that? Trying to throw a little green in there, isn't it? Let's get us up on the fact check. Not the fact check. Let's get us up on the, make sure no one's asking a question already. There we go. And so you can see a little perk there, and we're doing the same thing right there. You can see on the Chicago Quant side of it, doing the same thing, perking up, doing positive action. See the curve here? We're getting our little curve right there. Matter of fact, it's almost trying to threaten a daily, trying to climb into the daily buy at the moment. Let's widen that out and see exactly what's going on there. So we go like that, and then we go like that. And you can see right there, we are minus 0.00018, so we're very close. Just trying to get through the zero line. The overall marketplace, it's the end of the year, so anything goes. Saw the grains get beat up a little bit yesterday. I thought that was kind of interesting. Nothing major. They've been. It could be just flat out tax selling. It could be all kinds of wonderful ditties that the government forces onto us on our trading decisions. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it rolls. Let's see. I think we need to put a red line in there. Every time we put it in there, it seems to disappear on us. But right there is the sell. So it's been in a sell for a few days here, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, what does it say on fact check? Let's take a look and see. Right there on line 21, right? Yeah, 5 days in a sell, you can see. And 1 day in a sell. That's the Swiss. So dollar Swiss pairs trade. Feeling the pressure. There you are, Jordan. Robin was asking me about you. How you doing today? We are open all week long, it looks like. No early close this week. Darn. I was hoping for 2 back-to-back 3-day weekends. A trader's dream, Markets closed. You're able to take off and just not have to think about the markets. Darn. Because even when you're on vacation and the markets are open, you're always trapped in your head, It's like, I got my positions on and they could, do this, that, or the other thing. So, I was looking for another 3-day weekend. Not happening, it seems like. Oh well. Alright, so I hope you're doing fine, Jordan. Let's see, what else we got going on here this morning. You can see there, as I said, the Swiss is doing its thing like that. And let's see what's going on the weekly. You can see here we're on a second week of a weekly sell, but it is curving up a little bit. Let's take a look at what it looks like on J4X. Right there. I'm not really, well, it's the end of the year, so you can see there's the pressure there. Doing the same thing, moving down, and the lines show it right there. I don't know if we're going to see much more than just the sloppy, oh boy, end of the year window dressing / tax selling, tax buying, all kinds of noise like that. I think that's what it really comes down to. All right, let's from there jump over to the euro. See what the euro's up to this morning. Right there. And that's the weekly on the J4X. And there it is overall on the Chicago Quant. You see another little green thing trying to perk up. We're in a daily sell on that. Let's see what's that. Let's go to that. That is right. Let's see, was it line 14, right? Yeah. So it is 1 week in a buy and 1 day in a sell. So the action is, pressing down. You see the weekly is trying to turn up. You got that little green thing going on. It's trying to confirm last week's signal on the Chicago. And let's see, let's put the daily up there. There's the daily. That's still feeling the pressure. It has not broken into the sell yet. Whereas we slid into it yesterday. Let's Put that there, and put the line in like so. There we are. So we're in the cell again, and we'll see what they do with that. I'm not, I mean, I'm not, I thought we'd have some entanglement here in the 38. You know, when we saw it try to go down to the 23 and failed. You know, so remember we do, I think we have it Fibonacci, right? Yeah, we have the range Fibonacci, something like that. So, you know, it went down, tried to touch the 23 a few times, and now we've made higher lows. But we have not made higher highs yet. So the product is kind of just cruising along. All right, from there, we slide over to the cable. Right, where's cable? Right there. And you can see the daily's very firm. On the fact check, let's go that, was that line 13, right? Yeah, right there. So you see cable right there. We are 8 weeks in a sell, but our weekly is pressing, as you can see on the Chicago. Let's put that on Chicago. Right there. You can see there, it's, you know, it's been through the weekly all week long, and the daily has been in a buy for a bunch of days. So just like the way it's showing it on J4X here, you know, that pressure's been there. It's gone up and met one of the. We have this range also Fibonacci, so you see that there. It's playing with the 0.23. Let's take a look at it on a weekly. There's on the weekly on J4X. What do we got here? Oh, we got all you want. I like that. There's exchange every day, but the market is still closed, no volume. I don't understand. No, the market is open. Market's open all 5 days this week, and I am sad about it. I am. I was hoping for that 3-day weekend again. It was so nice. And a New Year's 3-day weekend is even easier than a Christmas 3-day weekend. You know, because you're trying to be, you know, sociable and all that other stuff. Whereas for a New Year's, you know, it's a drinking holiday, really. When I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I mean, everybody just talks about alcohol and so forth. But yeah, you know, it's that's where we're at the moment. Indeed, indeed. So that's the answer to that one. So yeah, it looks like we're open all 5 days. So it's not an exchange holiday. Currencies I knew would be open either way. Currencies will run, you know, currencies are pretty much a 7-day-a-week thing, but we trade them more in a, you know, 5-day-er situation because the weekends are very thin. But you can see here on the weekly, you know, it's trying to climb up too. Second week of a green hinky on it though, on the weekly. And over on the Chicago, you know, it's you can see all the green dots, but you know, it's finally broken through here. So we'll see if they hold up. I think they will. I think they're going to go up in between the green line and the yellow line right there. I am hoping to learn more about strategy that Robin and I talked about at a later date when I have tried the current strategy. Hope that's okay. No, it's fine. There's no problem. Yeah, Robin was wondering if you were going to call him. He was just asking me. I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen Jordan in a week. I hadn't seen you all week. I wasn't sure. I figured maybe you were on holiday, you know. I mean, it was Christmas last week. Let me take a sip of our tea. That is a relatively normal time of the year to try to disappear, you know. All right. So you can see here, cable is looking very firmish. Nice. And we'll see how well it hangs up on there. And let's see what else we got to say about that. I guess nothing more. But we are marching along. Nice morning here, guys. Anybody want to see anything particular before I jump over to that magical currency pair, the Turkish lira? Fascinating. It's like the research, live research. The Turkish lira is fascinating as all get out. You know, we've been following that now for 4 or 5 years and the math has been totally right on it all 4 or 5 years that we've been following it. So it's been very interesting. So go here. Let's go over to the Turkish lira. First one we'll look at is the dollar Turkish lira. And it's right there. We'll do it over here. And that's the weekly we're showing you to start off with. And then on the Chicago you can see both. They're still in a weekly buy with no problem. Closed in a daily buy yesterday. You should throw the green line in there. So it's holding up pretty well. We thought they had done some interesting things now that they've basically are giving taxpayers of Turkey are now giving out a free put if you buy their currency. So that's a pretty cool thing, you know. I'm sure that the arbitrageurs are going to figure the game out there sooner or later. And you see here we are pierced on J4X right now. You know, it's last week it did do it last week. Yeah, I guess it did it last week. We went into the weekly sell on there. We'll see. And it's still piercing down, but for us on the Chicago side of it, you can see it's been a weekly buy for. Let's go take a look and see on the fact check spreadsheet. 15 weeks right there, and it's 1 day in a buy. Now let's put the daily up on there on the Turkish lira. You see that right there. 2 greens, just like we have greens here on the Chicago. And let's put the lines up. There it is. It's piercing through and it's trying to lift. Now what we'll do is we go over to the Euro Turkish lira, which is now our lead, because that's what we're showing you on the fact check spreadsheet, is we're looking at the Euro Turkish lira, not the dollar Turkish lira anymore. And let's get up on the Chicago. Let's see, right there. There it is. So on J4X, you can see it's bouncing up on a daily. You know, closed a daily in a buy yesterday. That's what that's reflecting right there. And now we are going on a second day, and the same situation over on our charts here. Let's put that up there like that. And put the little green line in there like so. And we'll see what kind of bounce. I figured we would get into this 15 and change. Stall out, do some, you know, correcting in here, that type of thing. That's what I figure. Then I guess as time goes on, we'll start to learn how much the free put is that's being given away by the Turkish from Turkey itself. So Turkey is now giving free put for anybody that buys into their currency. They haven't made it exactly clear if it's only for customers or if it's for institutions or for the public, or, you know, but they claim that's what they're doing, so everybody has to figure out, okay, let's see how it all lays out now, and once they figured out that, then the arbitrageurs will be out there playing and having their, you know, their currency games. Okay, so that's why you saw this whole giant move from here down. It sounded like they were using, on the dollar side, they were using our number, the 18 that we were talking about. Let's just show it to you again. Right, where's it at? Right there. So they were using the 18 that we had set, and they said they developed the idea of giving the free puts out. I guess it was back in 2019 or 2018, something like that, but they didn't implement it. And the son-in-law of President / former Prime Minister Erdogan, you know, realized that things were getting really rough, and we were heading for that 24 that we talked about, and we thought that it would stall out in the 18, and they used that as the drop dead line. You know, it's in other words, President Erdogan told him, you know, if we get to 18, you got to give out those free puts to prop up the currency. So now the taxpayers and the government of Turkey will be giving you a free put if you're involved in their currency. Not exactly sure what the exact rules are. Last I read, they were not very clear, but everybody has to stop and think what they're doing first before they get trapped in a situation where those free puts are out there. Doesn't mean the currency is going to, go back to like 1 or 2. Matter of fact, I kind of think that this is the low to some extent right in here, the 10 area where it got down to. So it dropped from 18 to 10. It's like a 40% drop. We'll see how that plays itself out. When looking at the euro, let's see, euro Turkish lira. Let's find out right there. When looking at that, it fell from the, what was that, the 21-ish area down to the 11 area. So it was like even more of a drop, I guess you'd say. And now, like I said, we'll sit and watch and see. Yeah, it's all fine with us. Oh, there you go. That's Robin. That's cool. So that is the name of the game there now. Now we go from the fact check spreadsheet of that. Let's take a look at Canada. See what the Canadians are doing this morning here. And as you can see right there, we are 1 day in a buy and 7 weeks in a buy. So let's put the Canadian up on the screen here. Dollar Canadian pairs trade. Right, oh, we're cloudy, right there. And there it is right there, same situation. We closed in a buy. Oh yeah, of course we did. There it is right there. And you can see the weekly is still holding up. It has not broken down. And you can see here the daily. What are you doing with the daily? Daily is trying to lift up. Where's the lines? It's probably doing it. Not yet. It hasn't gotten through yet. It's trying to catch up to the Chicago quant. We'll see what goes there. And then take a look at it on a weekly basis, like so, right there. And see if it's pierced or is it still above the line. We'll see in a few seconds there. There you go, good. So it's not going into the weekly sell yet either. Got a little red going on there. We don't have dots on the weekly, but in the end result is that you can see that it's holding up. It's fighting to stay in that buy. Alrighty, from there what we do is we take the currency, this particular currency pair, we try to interpret the metals and the energy sector because of the way the currency traders have used the Canadian throughout the years, especially against the Kiwi. But in this case here, we've been watching it more through the dollar of late. So we're figuring that as long as the product is showing some strength here, it means that more likely gold is trying to go down and oil is probably flat, that type of thing. So let's go take a quick look at that product. Let's go to, let's see, where do we go first? Let's go to gold. Let's see what gold looks like here on J4X. There it is right there. I know it looked like we went a preliminary look yesterday afternoon. Made gold look like it was in a sell, but it didn't. And this morning it is flirting with it. As you can see right there, it's still lifting up on oh, that's a weekly. Okay, so yeah, our weekly is still, let's see, where's it at? Oh, here we go. So our weekly is piercing all week long. It's been, since Monday, it's been underneath. And so it's showing us the pressure. Here, it's not doing that yet. And then when we look at it on a daily, like so, you see that's trying to go down, and it's doing the same thing here. We are underneath. So there's pressure on the metal complex, just like the way the Canadian is trying to reflect it. Now what we'll do is we jump over to the oil sector, and that would be the Texas light sweet crude. Sounds yummy, doesn't it? Sweet crude. Yummy, yummy for my tummy. And you can see right there, it's been marching up on a daily basis. Over on Chicano, right there in the February contract. It's still in a daily buy, and you can see it is flirting with the weekly buy here down at the bottom. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. Right there. Well, it's, okay, there you go. So it's piercing through just the same as our weekly is doing over here. It's doing the same thing right there. And the daily, which we've been in a daily buy for, this looks kind of odd, doesn't it? What's going on there? That was a daily sell at one point. I'm a little confused. Or is it maybe the line got moved? Maybe that's it, like that. No, that wouldn't be a daily sell either. I'm totally confused now. We're going to have to look up this February contract and check out some of the prices. Where was that at? I guess it was like right here. We were in a sell. So we're going to have to double check that date and see what's going on. Let's go look at the back months. Sometimes the back months don't get polluted by bad data. Okay, yeah, so it went into the buy here. It was in the sell on that day. Now that's one showing me, now that's doing the same thing. So somehow or another the data has been changed. And but this where we are now is in the buy, and this went into the weekly buy last week on the back month. All right. What else can we do? Oh, here we go. That's in it. And so that's where we are now. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go back down to the normal size. There it is. From there, we take a look at the South African Rand. After looking at the gold and the oil, we figured with this type of action, it's moving up, and it was moving up yesterday, and we were real disappointed about that. We're just like, oh man, can't that thing go down more? We were like, oh, we want metals to go up, so South African Rand needs to go down. And yeah, see how it did that yesterday? It pushed itself way up, and doing it again today. Darn, 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 and darn. And I hope Middle Age got out of his corn, because he was a 16 offer or something like that. So, yeah, I bet you're happy. I heard they smacked corn down. And that's where that's at right there. You can see we're going on a second week of a sell. Why isn't the line in there though? I could have sworn yesterday I put that line in there. I hate when it does all that. There we go. I guess I have to remember to do the save workspace. Save workspace as. Save, yes, there we are. So the South African Rand is bounced yesterday, and sure enough, it put the pressure right on the metals complex, and no good trade there on the upside for us. All right, from there, we slide over to ruble. Ruble seems to always march along with it. You can see there, same type of thing, a little strength going on. But what's nice here in the ruble is it's playing with the weekly sell with no problem. Could be a sign. It's the end of the year. If it wasn't the end of the year, I'd say, okay, yeah, maybe it's going to be going into a sell for a couple weeks. But not necessarily. There's the ruble there on the weekly, and the weekly is doing, let's see what it's doing there. Yeah, it's got that pressure thing going on, just like ours. And it's underneath, right there, and it's underneath right there. And then the daily is lifting up, just like this. See, it's lifting up right there. Darn. Well, we got a couple more days of this, and then maybe we can start to follow the trends a lot more comfortably, I guess you could say. It's awful hard to trust any of the trends until after this tax situation ends. Oh, it's just I hate the tax situation. I guess that's why everybody would be really happy to see like a conventional tax thing, like a what do they call it, a VAT tax or something like that. I think that's what they call it, a VAT tax. Instead of punishing businesses, just charge taxes on consumption. All right. From there, we drift over to the yen. There it is right there. Let's see what the yen's doing today. Normally, the yen is just the yen. It follows the dollar pretty closely. In some ways, you could almost use the yen dollar pair trade like we use the Swiss one. To try to understand the direction of the dollar at the moment. You can see right there on the daily, showing some good strength. What's that, line 19? You can see we are 6 days in a buy, and we are 1 week in a buy right there. You see that right there? And all those days in a buy, it's been doing its thing. It's been a nice winner chicken dinner. And let's see what the weekly looks like over here. And there it is right there. You see it's doing its lifting thing right now. It's been 3 green hinkies for 3 weeks. So it's been trying to lift, and you can see the strength has been more on the upside. And we are 2. And this basically went green hinky on J4X right there. So it's giving you a good heads up at that bottom, right there. So then, last but not least, we slide over to the North American continent, and we check out the Mexican peso. And it's right there. Activate. Try to widen that a little bit there. And that's the, let's give that a spin, see if we can do that way. And then widen it out. That's not bad. So you can see here it went into a cell, like, I guess it was in a cell right from here, and has stayed in the cell throughout this whole ride for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Went into the weekly cell at the end of last week. It hasn't really gone anywhere. And it's breaking the time manifold and heading south. And then, let's see, let's go over to J4X. Right there. It's going to show you the weekly right off. So it's going to show you a couple of weeks in a cell. Probably like 3 red hinkies, maybe 2 red hinkies. Let's see. 4. Wow. Real pressure. So it's been like that for a while. Let's see those hinkies. And let's get to the daily and see what that looks like right there. And there it is. Lots of red. Just like we're lots of red right there. All that red right there. And you can see it's trying to get into a buy at the moment. And we've done that cute little bounce thing like right there and then started heading back down again. Now we're towards the lows of the last couple of weeks. Let's see, that has to take out that low there. That's what? 20.56, and today's low is 20.59. The pressure is on there. And that's where we stand with the 4 other pairs that we follow. So we've done, I guess, about 11 different pairs. Let me go through that list in my head again. Well, I'll say it out loud. So we look at the Swiss, we look at the Euro, we look at the cable, we look at 2 Turkish liras, that's 5 right there. We look at Canadian, that's 6. Let's see. Then we do 4 more pairs, South African Rand, Russian Ruble, or Russian Federation Ruble, and the Japanese Yen, and the Mexican Peso. So we do a good 10 currency pairs right there alone. And then we, on the second half of the webinar, we go in and look at the commodities, or we're always happy from the moment we start the webinar we're happy for any questions, to look at different products. We love exploring new products. Yesterday, we must have looked at, 5 or 6 products we normally don't look at. I mean, once in a while the traders come in and they ask for them and we show them, but, we only have so much time that we just have a normal rhythm, and then we love jumping around. So we would be happy to get questions all day, every day. So that's where this whole thing stands. And from there, we now go over to the commodities. And we'll take a look at, we can start off with the metals complex. And there is silver. Silver has that pressure going on. Last night when we sent out the charts, it had a red line in there, but somehow or another it changed the data on us. But today you can see the pressure is still on. The math picked it up. They played games at the exchanges and the clearinghouses, but in the end result, Doc's math will spot it. And so you can see right here, that is line, what is that? That's line 14. So we are 5 weeks in a sell and 6 days in a buy. So let's go find that right now. Right there. And there's silver. You see it on J4X, right there. You see it's piercing the line here, as we were piercing the line there. What's interesting is that on Monday and Tuesday, the silver, which is in a buy on a day-to-day basis, was above the zero line on the weekly. We were really excited. Like, oh, come on. The South African Rand is moving down. Gold was firm, and then all of a sudden on Monday, going into Tuesday, gold was like almost instantly playing underneath the weekly sell right from the first day on Monday. Like, oh no, come on, bounce up. And then it started to bounce up. We thought, okay, maybe somebody at the New York Fed metals desk realized that there is inflation. Maybe it'll let this thing breathe. But no, not like a fine wine. They don't like to let it breathe, that's for sure. So there we are with the silver, being ornery on a day-to-day basis. Now let's check it out on the weekly, on the J4X, and as you can see, a little pressure there. And we probably have a green somewhere because it has been firm. No, yes, that's it. Last week it did go into the green. You can see the line is trying to get through the dashed line, just as we were doing that a little while ago, like yesterday. And the day before, we were playing Tuesday and Wednesday. We were through it until they slammed it yesterday. All right, from there we'll go over to copper. Right there, and there's the weekly copper on J4X. And there is the weekly on Chicago Quant. You can see it's trying to lift up just the same way as here on the J4X. Trying to fight its way through. It's got 2 weeks of green, and it's trying. It's battling its way, and it's trying. And we are up at the top, I guess it was at the 440 area. So the range is 460 to 4 even, and it seems to be hanging in the center or above the side of that range. Let's see what else. Let's take a look at it on a daily basis. Right there. Doing the same wild curve. We got a little red going on there. You see we have that same curve right there. Like that. And then we got a red dot right there. Pressure. But we're still, just like it is on J4X right there. You see it's not piercing yet. But it is hanging in there, trying to show some life to it still. Now from there, we'll take a quick look at the platinum over on Chicago. So the Dukascopy doesn't do platinum. Just to get a flavor. We keep on thinking that, oh, and I think we did, yeah, we moved to April platinum. We keep on thinking that the weekly will perk its head up, but it won't. Just the daily did. Went into the daily buy, did go up, but we cannot get any strength on a longer term basis. All right, from there, we slide over to the energy complex. Let's see, where's it at? Right Let's take a, I have a desire to look at the British North Sea oil. There's the daily. It's been showing the strength just like everything else, on the, let's put that over here. Let's go with the back month, do something conservative. And there's the back month, and it's been strong. You see there. You can see over on J4X. This is the daily. And so both have been very firm, lots of green dots. This is North Sea oil. And then let's check out the weekly on it. Nope, not there. Right there. And it's probably lifting up just like the same way that the American oil is doing. This West Texas Intermediate. Trying to lift up, and we even got a green right there. Now we've been in a weekly buy for a week in the back month, so there is some nice firmness going on in the oil complex. All right, from there we slide down to natural gas, which has been one enormous, gigundous, wild ride, unfortunately, in the winter months for Europeans and Asians. And the Americans are floating those boats and trying to sell, natural gas like as if it's selling cases of beer, because it's 10 times more expensive outside the United States. That's an incredible number, 10 times. Not like the old arbitrage at like a quarter point or a half a point, 10 times. So we're trading in the 3.8 area, $3.80. Let's say we could round it out at that point to $4. We're in the under the $4 area, and in Europe it's trading at about $36. Yow, 36! My God, what is that? 8 times? 9 times? 9 times. So, wow. Let's see if we can put it up on the screen here. Here is the American. So you see, yeah, we're at almost $4 now. It's American natural gas. So, and we've been moving up. You can see that the last couple of days here on our work. You can see we're playing with the weekly right there. And it's trying to do it here on the J4X. It's trying. Oh, that's a weekly. Okay, so yeah, the weekly's a little off, but let's see what the daily looks like. The daily must be caught up by now. Yep, look at that. It's showing that strength just like our strength we've been seeing. Alright, so the weekly has a little bit more work to do there. Now, let's go find the European one. We don't have it on Chicago, but let's take a look at it through J4X. Germany, Great Britain, that's what we're looking for, the Great Britain, right there. The natural gas. And you'll see there it's trading up at the all-time highs, which is in the 30s. So we're at $4 and they're at like $37, $38. Yee. That's insane, isn't it? My God. Let's see what the weekly looks like. That's why the boats are going all over the place. All you want. Oh no, wait a minute, there you go. There's Douglas too. Morning, Douglas. How you doing? And all you want says, how long will Brent rally up? I guess until the buyers stop buying, right? Or when obviously the better answer is when our math turns over. We can go back to it real quick and take a look. You can see here, the weekly has been like a moonshot. Look where it's come from, down in the 8s. And it was down in the 7s. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, let's go back to Brent and answer all you want. Let's see, Brent. So we're going to show you an example, and we're going to look at live Brent at the same time. So let's do this. Here is, let's go with this. Here is back month crude, okay? Now, I guess you can say, let's go like this, and there it is right there too at the same time, and that's the weekly. So, we see the breakdown here, and we got the selling going on there. Then we saw the lift here, we got the buying right there. So, my real answer to your question is, when the math turns down, it will go down. So how long will Brent rally up? Until the math turns. It's the most honest point of view of it all, and the most sincere. And at the same time, you can see the same game with Chicago. Went into the sell here on a weekly basis, and we do the same statement to you, and that is when the math turns up, then we know it's going up. Now this is dailies. This chart here is dailies. This chart here is weeklies, and our mathematical trends. But that's how we do it all. We basically follow the math. Now we can have personal opinions. Like I have a personal opinion about this or that. But when it comes to risking money and talking intelligently about it, my first inclination, my first idea is follow the math. These fundamentals don't really carry any weight anymore. So we're hoping that changes in 2022. It's been 13 years that fundamentals don't seem to match up. So, all right. I hope that answered your question all you want. And you're welcome to ask as many questions as you would like. We always say there are no wrong questions in trading and money. There are only long answers or short answers. That's about it. But there are no wrong questions. There are no crazy questions. There are no, brilliant questions. There are no stupid questions, because it's money. That's what we're looking to make, and we're risking it to make it. So there is never a wrong question. There's just a long answer or a short answer. All right, let's see, so that's Brent. And what have we done now? Oh, yes. So we looked at natural gas, we looked at oil. I guess that's about it when it comes to the, oh, no problem. Let me think, what do we do? Okay, so we're pretty free here now. We're going to go take a look at, we got plenty of time. So let's take a look at the stock indices and see what they're doing and how they're finishing off the year. And that is right, where is that? We're going to look at the Tech 100 to start off with right there, here in the States. And as you can see, it's been in a weekly sell here since up in here. It went down and now it's turning up, and you can see our green line on the weekly had been turning. And this week it's trying to close on a weekly buy. The daily went into a buy right there after this cute little bounce. So it's been, battling to go to the upside for over a week and a half now. Now looking over at J4X, you can see the weekly doing the same exact thing, trying to battle its way up right there. And at the same time, over on the daily, you can see it's probably been in a run for a while, just the same. Running for dailies, for days upon days upon days there. Now from there we go over and take a look at the S&P 500, right there. As you can see, the dailies have been in a daily buy for a bunch of days since here. It's climbed up to all-time highs. And you can see on the weekly basis right there, it's just lifting, and it's been in the sell since this area there. So we look at it here on J4X, you can see the daily doing the same exact thing as we see right here, as we see on Chicago over in here. And at the same time, we look at the weekly, and there's the weekly, reflecting that same strength right there. Matter of fact, it's basically insinuating very clearly that it probably closed in a weekly buy last Friday. So it's a week ahead. Our work is catching up to it this time. And what else can we say? Boom, 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 boom. That's about it. So that is the S&P 500. Now we'll go look at the granddaddy of them all, and that is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see it doing the same thing. It went into a weekly buy last week over here on J4X. And over here we did the same thing. We went into a weekly buy also, and you can see the daily's been in a buy. I think it's further back, isn't it? Here, one over, right there. So it's been in a daily buy since there, and let's see what the daily looks like over here. You can see the strength there. So it's been doing the same exact thing with the green dots, lots of green, see them all green, and the hinkies doing the same thing, and it's through the line just like it's been through the line here. So overall the Dow is holding up very firm, and then since we got plenty of time here, we can go adventure a little bit, take a look at what we do. We've been looking at yen. Someone's been asking about the Nikkei. So let's look at the Nikkei on this. That's the Hong Kong. Let's see, Nikkei. There it is, right there. And let's see what we can find out with the Nikkei. Right there. Went into the daily buy. Wow, this is a little bit more interesting in some ways. Went into the daily buy here, but look at that big drop. We weren't, I guess, we just missed the weekly buy last 2 weeks ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. So there's last week. It was in a buy, closed in a buy, and I guess it just missed it. There's 18. So that must be it right there. Just 18. So 18 was minus. And daily buys there, but this little slide there is not very pretty, is it? Now the weekly when it was back here wasn't. Oh, you can't see that shade. When it was here, it wasn't too bad, and we went into a daily sell. Just right there, and then we went into a daily buy right there, which seems kind of crazy. And it gaps, but we're in a weekly sell, so you can't take the buy. You just have to stand still, and you miss that. Then you catch all that. So, I don't know, it's a time thing too, because these are the American hours, so it's more of the fact after than it is the like a leading indicator type of thing. All right, we can look at DAX if anybody would like to see DAX or something like that, or FTSE. I saw FTSE strong. Let's see what the FTSE's doing today. That's the Dow. That's the Japanese. Is that the FTSE? Where's the FTSE? There's the FTSE right there. At one point I saw it up very firm. Yeah, you can see that. There's the daily. It's been in daily buy for a while in the J4X chart. And let's see what the weekly looks like. Been holding up very firm there too for a couple of weeks. So you can see that the you want to see the S&P again? Sure. There is the S&P. And there it is on Chicago right there. They're both, they're flirting with their weekly buy. You can see there they put the J4X chart, put it into the buy last week. We missed it by just a little bit, but we've been in a daily buy for a while, so that's not too bad. Let's see what it looks like on a daily. So they probably both have been very firm, yeah, for a bunch of days. There's the S&P. We're at the end of the year. It's at all-time highs. You're getting the ho ho ho. I think you're the one that asked about the Santa Claus rally, or was it Jordan a couple of weeks ago? I said I don't believe that those labels work anymore. I think that they're just it seems like Christmas is every month of the year. Because the quantitative easing is constantly buying and investing and buying and investing and holding. The central banks are the buyers of last resort. They don't, they want stability. They don't want to see currencies, basically, hurt not currencies. They don't want to see loss of assets. They want assets to stay up. The government would be enormously in trouble in all the countries if the pension plans fell apart. So one thing, one of the reasons that they do the quantitative easing is not only just to save the corporations that they've saved, but they do it to make sure that the retirees have the assets to survive. So it's a combination of a lot of stability factors. That's the whole name of the game. And the S&P 500 is probably like the best global index of them all. Because it's 500 stocks, 500 companies, and half of them are foreign corporations. They're not American corporations. The other half are American corporations. So we have 250 American companies, and then we have 250 global companies in there. So that's pretty cool. So you got things like a Siemens or a Deutsche Bank. I guess I don't know if Deutsche Bank is even in there anymore, but you have some of the German, like probably like Volkswagen or something like that, and BMW, and things of that nature, and a couple of other things. Royal Dutch Shell, British Aerospace probably is in there or something like that. And it's got companies of that nature in there. So it is truly a global index, which is kind of neat. So there's the action. You see, the equity markets are going out at the very top of the year, and because they're going out at the top of the year, it'll be interesting if they stay firm like this tomorrow and Friday. It'll be very interesting to see what Monday, Tuesday of next week bring in the year of 2022 in January, because normally your ho-ho rallies do that. They rally right around Christmas, and they rally straight through to the second day of the new year, and then they start to do that as January, the first week of January goes, as the world, the market goes. So in other words, if we're up like Monday, Tuesday, then what people will think is that we'll be up possibly firm most of the month of January, maybe sell off towards the end, and if we are down the last couple of days of the week. But if we're not, and we're still up even more, that will mean that they'll all be interpreting that this 2022 could be an up year, and that's a lot of speculation has been that we're not going to see 25 or 30% like we saw this year throughout the indices. But we're probably going to see 12 or 13 or 14 or 15% up for the year. I don't know, we'll see. I think that the markets will start to interpret that we're going back to Trump era type characteristics, and that the Trump, all the candidates running are campaigning with Mr. Trump at this point. So as much as the U.S. media wants to tell us that Mr. Trump is gone, he's totally the opposite. He is leading the Republican Party, and we've been winning election after election after election for a bunch of years now, and we've only lost 3 seats, the presidency. For some strange reason, votes came in at 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, and somehow or another beat Mr. Trump in 6 different states. They've changed the laws, so that's not allowed anymore. So it's going to be a little tougher to do that stuff. And then, we've been winning seats everywhere around the country. From even California, we've been taking congressional seats for the last couple of years. And this last election was a crushing blow to the Democrats in the Senate and the House. They did not win any real majority at all. They literally a 50-50 in the Senate, and they have like a 2-seat advantage in the House. We picked up 30 seats or something like that. So there is no running away from the Trump era. People miss it already. They've been missing it since day one. And I think that markets do like to anticipate future events. So in other words, the classic saying, buy on rumor, sell on news. At this point in time, things are so dicey that you're not even sure if Mrs. Pelosi will make it to the election. I mean, all they have to do is lose a couple seats, by people retiring or walking away or car accidents or old age, because the Democrats are very much more older than the Republicans in the government. So in other words, your average like Democrat congressperson is something like 10 or 12 years older, and you have them, they pass away every so often. That's the way it usually works. So it's just a slow, steady cosm of it. But anyway, that's where we are. We're just watching the numbers. We're here all week long, and looks like we're at the end of the road. So this is Doc from North America. Unless anybody would like to see any particular chart or any particular product, we can stop and not end this and take a look. And if not, we'll start to pack up the bags and get ready to start trading ourselves. We'll give everybody a few seconds to see if they want to ask a question. And so that's where we are. We're watching to see if it's going to be a up year or a down year or a sideways year. It's always fun. With quantitative easing, it's been very tough to take any of the serious. You literally have to have a world pandemic to get the markets to fall down, which has been a buying opportunity. That's what every time the markets fall down, they let them fall for a little bit, and then boom, you buy them and they go up. The bigger question is will there be that action again in 2022 after Mr. Powell gets sworn in? That's the concern, because he has inflation now that he must fight. And so, they wouldn't be surprised if we saw a couple of surprise interest rate increases in between meetings, not just waiting at meeting time. So, all right, I don't see any questions popping out. So, let's see. With no questions, we're going to get going then. So this is Doc from North America. We will see you tomorrow on Thursday. Everybody have a good, safe trading day. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta.